Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Weikav Nut65. They did send this out to me for review, but it will not change my thoughts or opinions on the product. So first of all, let's talk about the box. The box is a pretty basic box. You won't get any fancy carrying case or anything like that. It's just a standard box. In the box, you get a couple accessories like a keycap and switch puller, a cable for extra switches, and some screws if you want to switch this keyboard from silicone mount to top mount. But that's pretty much it in terms of the box. In terms of specs, this does come with a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. I didn't really get to test the battery because I mostly use this wired, but 6,000 milliamps, if you're not using RGB, should last a really long time. And if you're maybe only using low RGB, should last a while as well. This does support 3 mode. This is wireless, wired, and Bluetooth. There is some dongle storage on the back of the case. It's magnetic. You just open it up. The dongle is sitting there. You could put it back and whatever. This case is full aluminum. It is a nice premium aluminum feeling. I would say it feels slightly more premium than something like the Chilky aluminum cases, but it wouldn't feel necessarily as premium as like a Neo. I would say it's like kind of in between, but you get some nice thick bezels on the case. This board does support ball catch, so it's pretty easy to take apart, and it has a magnetic connector to connect the PCB to the daughter board, so it's again pretty easy to take apart. There is also a nice back weight in the back. You get this silver back weight with the Nut logo being silver mirror, so it's pretty premium and nice. In terms of dampening and the plate, you do get a flex cut FR4 plate. On their website though, they do have other plate materials you could buy like PP, palm, carbon fiber, aluminum, etc. But the layers in dampening in the keyboard are there's 2 layers of Poron. There's PET. There's another layer of Poron and PET. It's just a ton of foam, and the board is silicone mounted, but again, it sports top mount. And in terms of these stabilizers, these are plate mounted stabilizers. They are tuned pretty well. At one point, my stabilizer was ticking a little bit on the space bar, but then it stopped. But overall, I think this is a pretty solid stabs tuned for this board. I don't think you'll have to swap them or buy new ones. In terms of switches I used in this board, I used HMX Frog Tactiles, which are currently in here, HMX Latte, Aqua Piano V3 Pro, and Kinetic Labs Capybaras switches. All of them sounded great in here. This board has a pretty decent sound profile. Um, uh, I wouldn't recommend using Tactiles in this board if you're going to use it for gaming, but overall, you can try a lot of different switches in there and you'll get a good sound profile. I wouldn't say there's a huge switch variance between switches, but it's definitely there. It definitely existed, but you're not going to get like a whole new keyboard when you swap switches, but you'll definitely notice the difference in sound. I would not recommend going foamless on this keyboard. It just will sound horrible foamless. You definitely don't have to use all 5 layers of foam and dampening, but I would recommend using at least 3. But this is not a foamless friendly board. It is a budget board and it is usually common. So don't buy this expecting a good foamless experience. In terms of the software, this does support VS software, but it also has a Weikav web software. They're both fine. They both do the same functions. What does bother me about the software though is the RGB front bar. You cannot change in the software. You cannot have it do the same RGB effects as the top RGB. It's not as good customizable, but the RGB on this keyboard gets very bright and it is very good. There's a bunch of effects, and the front has a bunch of colors and effects also, just not as much as the top. Overall, good RGB. If you're looking for a good RGB board, you get this one. In terms of performance in game, this is not a gaming keyboard. This is not Hall effect. This doesn't have any fancy features, but you can game completely fine using this keyboard. If you're a casual gamer just playing single player games, or you're playing pretty easy FPSs and don't really care about being extremely competitive, I can definitely recommend this for gaming. There's no issues with it. I didn't notice any latency issues with the board cutting out. The inputs feel responsive, obviously not as responsive as a Hall effect board, but I definitely could recommend this for gaming. In terms of price, this does start at $80 on Weikav's website, but it is cheaper on AliExpress if you want to look for it. I'm going to link the official store link because they sent it out to me, but you can find it cheaper. Overall, would I recommend this keyboard? So if you're looking for a bare bones kit that has some cool features, and is easy to mod, I can 100% recommend this. Again, this doesn't have the craziest sound profile ever, but for this price, it's good enough. There are a lot of colors, there are a lot of plate options that you will have to pay extra for that though. And it just sounds nice, and I didn't really have any problems with this keyboard. It's just an overall nice keyboard. I really enjoyed using it, and it's a pretty easy recommend if this is something you're looking for. Thank you for watching, and I will leave it off with a bunch of sound tests.